And Jim Sciutto, our national security correspondent. Jim, intelligence officials saying terrorists may be using last year's attack in San Bernardino, California, as inspiration?
Yeah, and the key is even more than inspiration, possibly taking an alarming step forward from inspiring attacks like last year's shooting in San Bernardino to actively directing and coordinating attacks on U.S. soil like those attacks in Paris in November. The Director of National Intelligence and Director of the Defense Intelligence Agency warning Congress that ISIS is determined to bring terror to the U.S. homeland. San Bernardino, the deadliest terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11, inspired by ISIS. Now the nation's top spies warn that the terror group will attempt to direct new attacks on the homeland this year.
ISIS leaders are determined to strike the U.S. homeland, beyond inspiring homegrown violent extremist attacks.
ISIL will probably attempt to conduct additional attacks in Europe and attempt to direct attacks on the U.S. homeland in 2016.
ISIS, described by President Obama as solely a regional threat just over a year ago, is now global, active in 8 countries and counting. And it has a growing focus on carrying out attacks in the West.
Spectacular external attacks demonstrate ISIL's relevance and reach. ISIL's foreign fighter cadre is core to its external attack capability, and the large number of Western jihadists in Iraq and Syria will pose a challenge for Western security services.
Intelligence officials warn that ISIS is hiding operatives and fighters inside the enormous human exodus from Syria and Iraq to plant terrorists in the West, manufacturing false passports and false identities so their fighters can pose as refugees.
One technique they've used is taking advantage of the torrent of migrants to insert operatives into that flow. They also have available to them and are pretty skilled at phony passports, so they can travel ostensibly as legitimate travelers as well.
Here in the U.S., the FBI is still trying to unravel the San Bernardino plot for clues as to where and how ISIS might strike next. But investigators have yet to unlock one of the attackers' cell phones, a sign of how violent extremists can go dark using encryption.
We still have one of those killer's phones that we have not been able to open. Right? It's been over 2 months now. We're still working on it.
Director Clapper made clear that terror groups are thriving as the number of failed states thrives. Violent extremists operationally active today in about 40 countries, more terror safe havens, Director Clapper said, than at any time in history.
Terrifying. Jim Sciutto, thank you so much. Appreciate it.